I would like to present and welcome Dr. Baleshka Brenes, the Director of Agricultural Programs with the University of Arizona in Yuma, and her husband, Samuel Disqua, with Helena Enterprises. Good morning. Can you hear?
Good morning, everyone.
Excellent. So I'm just going to jump right in and I'm going to start your video that you've prepared for us.
Sounds perfect.
Excellent.
Hello, everyone. My name is Baleshka Brenes, and I am Director of Agriculture Programs at the University of Arizona, Yuma. I feel blessed to be here today and be able to share with you during this great conference. I think it's a great opportunity to showcase a little bit about Yuma agriculture, but also to promote careers in ag. There's a big shortage of people who are pursuing careers in agriculture, and we want to change that because there's misconceptions of what is it like working in the ag field. There's basically a space for everyone. Anything that you're interested, you can apply it to agriculture. Agriculture is everywhere. So hopefully, as teachers, you can help students discover what are those careers look like. Think creatively, think critically, so that they can expand and discover new things. I was able to take a day in the field, and I went and was able to find very interesting people and working in the ag industry. So come with me and let's learn a little bit more about agriculture.
What we're doing here, this was known as a randomized complete block design. So this is a small plot replicated trial where we have different treatments which are applied multiple times, and the spacing between the flags, that's known as a plot.
There's a lot of demand for jobs in agriculture, so you just, as soon as you graduate, you know, there's people lining up ready to hire you. I don't think I know a single person who hasn't worked or hasn't got a job after they graduate from U of A here.
Enjoy it. So if you really want to have a career where you're outdoors and enjoying nature, this is it right here.
So this here is the sugar kiss melon. This melon is from Taiwan. We have melons that are from all over the world. We have the sugar kiss from Taiwan. We have the summer kiss from Israel. We have the golden kiss, which is a French Charente with a Western shipper. As women are strong. We, are stronger than men in a lot of ways. Do not be afraid. I was one of the first women who started their harvesting company over 15 years ago. And it was so challenging because this industry is very macho. And for them to have a female boss, an owner who actually works out in the field is unheard of. So don't be afraid, jump in, do it. We need more women out here because women are organized. You know, women see things that men don't because women are the ones who do all the shopping. And they want to provide healthy, fresh fruit for their families. So I say, come on over and help me.
It's important to do an internship because it gets you a broad spectrum of a little bit of everything of what you can do. There's just so much you can do in the ag industry besides becoming a grower, besides just becoming a PCA. Helena R&D kind of shows us a lot about that.
Like, I'm more into like the insecticide part because I love insects and like, I don't know, it's just have a lot of curiosity for those things.
I have been working in agriculture since I was 15. I started as a labor crew worker. And right now I'm working with Helena Research and Development, and we conduct studies for agriculture.
Today we're working on to check harvest data for melons. So what we're practically doing is we got a different amount of sample sizes for each plot to check weight, height, width, firmness in the bricks, as also as the sizings as how the shippers take them. As well over here, you can explain to you how he's doing his weight and how his size.
Basically what I'm doing is just It goes by size. Most of these are 9s. And I just check the weight.
Well, we slice the melons, and then I get half. I do the density, the firmness. I do multiple samples and then get an average estimated, and then I give the numbers to my coworker. It's a 16, 1.6, and then I do the bricks for sure confidence. I want to give that juice, and then looking, and it's 14.
I get up about 3:30, and I usually go to the office before I come out to the field to pick up whatever paperwork or whatever anybody needs, supplies. And then I come to the field and we set the line, which you can see over there. There's melons on the ground, and that's to teach the crews exactly what melons to pick and not to pick.
Okay.
And then we follow. So I have a very, very long day, and it lasts for about 8 weeks. It's pretty much 7 days a week, and it's just going on. That's it.
Wow, wow.
So that is my day.
Wow.
Yeah. I call it the melon diet. I always lose a lot of weight because I'm eating melons all day.
Research and development in agriculture is essential for coming up with new solutions to new problems. There's always new pests, new diseases that appear in our crops, and we need to figure out ways on how to control them and how to make the current practices safe. We want to be able to be more efficient on how we grow things and maximize the use of resources so we can produce more with less.
Thank you. I'm sorry. That was me. I forgot to unmute myself. All right. We can see it.
You can see it perfect.
Yes.
Let me. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today and talk to you a little bit about my experience and my background. So I'm just going to go to it because I know we're short on time. So I was born in Costa Rica, and but all my family is originally from Nicaragua. So I lived for 10 years in Costa Rica, and then I moved to Nicaragua, where I lived there for about 8 years. And then I moved to Honduras, where I did my bachelor's degree in socioeconomic development and environment in one of the top universities in Latin America for agriculture. They have very good relationships with the US. So once I graduated, I was able to move to the US to do an internship at the Ohio State University at a research center in the Department of Entomology. Even though that was not like my thing at the moment, I took the opportunity and I was able to prepare myself for grad school. So a lot of times you have to do a GRE, a test, a TOEFL for international students. And I was fortunate enough to get a graduate assistantship at Texas A&M University Commerce. I did my master's in ag science, and I worked in a project with prospective Hispanic farmers and ranchers. I was able to travel to conference and had networking opportunities where I was offered to do a doctoral program at Texas Tech University in the Ag Education and Communications Department. So that's where I completed my PhD. After I graduated, I did a 6-month postdoc, and then I moved to Yuma, where I honestly have to say it's the most beautiful place related to agriculture that I ever seen. When I came to interview, I was impressed by the ag industry, just seeing everywhere, so raw and so beautiful. So I'm really happy to be here. And my husband, Samuel, you can see him in the picture. He's gonna be presenting as well. And we have 2 beautiful kids, Valentina, and Bruno. So let me tell you a little bit more about agriculture in Yuma. So I saw that this was in the poll. So actually Yuma is the winter vegetable capital of the world, where 90% of the nation's leafy green through November through March are produced. So, and it is about $3 billion industry. So it's a big thing. But that's not only during the winter. Yuma produces all year round, and it has also rotation crops such as wheat, hay, melon, cotton, crop seeds. In the picture, you can see some onion seed in there. We also have date production, and citrus. So Yuma overall has like a perfect place for agriculture. And a lot of the farmers are really progressive. So they're at the front of new technologies and testing. We have workforce availability and a lot of community support that makes a big difference in the ag industry. So I wanna tell you, why do I think we should pursue careers in agriculture? So there's about 22,000 jobs every year that will go unfilled by at least 2020, that was the last number. And it's because there's not enough individuals to take those positions, because now more and more they're requiring at least a bachelor's degree. So if you have a career in agriculture, you can pretty much have 100% placement, and you're making a difference in the world for today and for the future, feeding the growing population. When we think about careers in agriculture, the majority of people just may think working in the field, but there's so many options that range from agribusiness, ag education, being ag teachers, or teaching in the college, animal science, biotechnology, the environment. Some people may not think that's part of agriculture, but it is. Food science, food safety, and even nutrition. Obviously, we have the plant science, which includes such as pest control advisors, working in the greenhouse, more of the traditional agriculture. So I really think we need to get students interested, but also help them to be prepared, because we've seen some deficiencies of students in the areas of science and chemistry, which are really required for an agriculture careers. So we need to help them to be successful, to get to us and being interested. Because for agriculture, it's sometimes hard to have that middleman position. A degree, it's really gonna make a difference in your career development. So at the University of Arizona in Yuma, we serve about 400,000 people, including the areas of the Imperial Valley. So we're really unique in the sense that students from Imperial in California, because we're so close, they get in-state tuition with us. So that's a very special thing that we have. And we have about 70% Hispanic, and we have about 20 different degrees that we offer that people can get locally, and the areas in agriculture, technology, engineering, and health and safety. So all of these degrees have been very carefully chosen to meet the needs of the region for workforce development. And we really make sure that our students get leadership experiences, research, and internship before they graduate. And this is my last slide. Also at U of A in Yuma, they're actually the only place outside of Tucson that has the 3 functions of the land-grant mission, which are teaching, research, and extension. So now I'm gonna give it to Samuel to talk a little bit more.
Thank you, Baleshka. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I hope you have enjoyed so far the Summer Institute. And just as Baleshka, I'll talk a little bit about myself. So my career path is very similar to Baleshka's. I'm native to Honduras. I did my bachelor's degree at Zamorano University in agricultural science and production. And then I came to the US, did an internship in entomology at The Ohio State University, and then I did my master's degree. And I'm currently completing my doctoral degree in entomology at Texas Tech University. And I'm currently working at Helena Enterprises as the Desert Research and Development Manager. So I'll be talking to you more about what I do at Helena. And I'm also an adjunct faculty at the University of Arizona, Yuma, where I teach crop production and agricultural systems management. So for my dissertation work at Texas Tech University, I did studies on pollinator communities in the Texas High Plains. We were interested in demonstrating conservation practices on farmland for pollinators. So we planted different wildflower meadows along farms to increase native bee populations, and also we did studies of plant attractiveness to pollinators. So you've heard about bees throughout this week, and you've heard about what are some of the causes for bee decline. And one of the important aspects of bee decline is that they don't have a steady amount of floral resources throughout the year. And that was one of the things that we were wanting to do by providing floral communities to the bees. And native bees are just as important as honeybees. There are 20,000 species of native bees worldwide. By comparison, there's only 5,000 species of mammals in the planet. So there's a lot of native bees. Moving on, research and development in agriculture is essential for increasing productivity and fostering innovation. And the amount of research or the amount of money that is invested in research and development just in the US alone is $16 billion. At the beginning of the century, most of that money was spent by the federal government, but recently we've seen a trend where companies are investing more and more in research and development. About 70% of investment in research and development is done by companies, and 30% is done by the federal government and the state governments. This fosters productivity. So from the 1940s till today, agricultural productivity has increased by almost 170%, while at the same time, farmers have reduced the amount of inputs that they use on their farmland, and also reduced the amount of land that they use for growing crops. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to invest in research and development. From the public perspective, for every dollar that is spent on research and development in agriculture, we get about 20 to 40% back as a return on the investment. And there are multiple priorities that we need to focus on if we want to feed and meet the future demands of agriculture, which are feeding 10 billion people by 2050. That includes improving efficiency on how we use inputs, because natural resources are getting scarcer. Water, which is the biggest input in agriculture, using it more efficiently. Likewise, developing crops that can resist diseases and are more drought tolerant and also adapt to the future climate, as well as closing existing yield gaps. There are areas that the yields are not what they should be because farmers have not adapted yet the latest techniques that are currently available. So that all entails investing more in agricultural research and development. That's the most important way that agriculture can be supported. So I work for Helena Enterprises. Some of you might be familiar with Helena. Helena is the second largest distributor of agricultural inputs in the US. We do not only sell agricultural inputs, but we provide solutions to the growers. So we provide seed and seed treatments, fertilizers, and application services, crop protection products, financial services, and precision ag services. So in the state of Arizona, we have 3 branches, one in Yuma, one in Buckeye, and one in Casa Grande. And we have about 35 PCAs that work throughout the state of Arizona. So in Helena Research and Development, what I do is that I develop products from benchtop to commercialization. So I get to see products that might potentially become pesticides that we screen for efficacy, and we compare with what's currently available on the market and see if these products provide any significant advantage to what's already on the market. We also work with them with our other proprietary products to verify their performance. And we use that information to train our workforce. So I develop protocols, I do product testing, I do trials, and then I provide the results. So we have a big challenge that is by 2050, feeding the world, feeding 10 billion people. And there are many ways we can do that. And we need to understand what are the 5 biggest players in agriculture, and how these are connected, and how we can work together to advance and feed the future population. So consumers, we people that work in agriculture, and also the consumers, they need to educate themselves on how things are grown in agriculture. Likewise, farmers adopting newer technologies that will be more beneficial and increase their productivity. And farmers are really the biggest stewards of their land. They understand that they need to be sustainable for the future so that they can leave their land to their offspring. Likewise, agricultural businesses and policymakers and academia, they play a big role in meeting these future demands. And this will entail not only research and development, not just improving our efficiency on what we grow, where we grow, or what we grow, but also it requires changing some of our behaviors, like reducing food waste. About 40% of all the agriculture products that are produced get wasted because of the end consumer does not eat them. So that's a big issue, and we need to work on this to feed up the growing population. So with that, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for having us. We hope you're having a good time, and with that, we'll be happy to take any questions.
Sure. So we do have a question. This comes from Jocelyn. It says, she's asking, how do you sell to the farmers, especially those that don't want to buy into the program, of the importance of using safe pesticides and to save the bees?
Okay, so farmers, they understand the importance of bees, and they use bees as pollinators for their own crops. So they're very careful about using pesticides when they have bees pollinating their crops, like in the melons. If they have to use a pesticide, it's because they have a need for it, because they may have a pest that would result in a crop loss for them. So they either remove the bees, or there's pesticides that are a lot safer on bees.
And then you said that they also have to be careful when they apply it. So if they get a pesticide, they have to apply it at night, or like
right. If they know they have a pesticide, or they have to apply a pesticide that might be toxic to bees, then they might need to do it at a time where bees are not actively foraging, or they will have to remove the bees altogether.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. I just have another question. This one's from Marianne. So what we're going to see, actually, Marianne is asking, what are some of the innovative techniques that you are currently using at Helena? I'll let you answer that question, because our other presenters today will be talking about some of the STEM and other innovations. So we only have a couple minutes.
Right. So right now we're investing a lot on precision agriculture. Like variable rate application techniques for fertilizers, drones in agriculture for doing the crop scouting. Instead of having a PCA, a pest control advisor, walking the fields, using a drone to take a flyby of the field and try to find areas and spots that may have a disease or a problem with fertility. Likewise, right now, there's a lot of interest in polymers, which are, these are substances that can help the soil retain more moisture so that we can reduce the amount of watering. So we're testing different products to increase water use efficiency.
Excellent.